You're listening to the Future of Convenience podcast, featuring senior retail executives and experts in the global convenience and mobility industry.
Welcome to the Future of Convenience podcast. I'm Dan Munford. I'm here with Haydn Tierney, Managing Director at Bowser Bean. Great to see you again, Haydn.
Thanks, Dan. Awesome to be here.
Before we get started, I want to tell you a bit about our sponsor, Calibrate. If you're making fuel and convenience planning decisions, you need insight you can trust. Calibrate has over 50 years' experience working with retail fuel operators. With data and software to help you forecast fuel and C-store volume at site and network level, Calibrate gives you the confidence to prioritise projects that deliver the best return on your investment, grow market share, outperform your competition, and allocate capital to where it really matters. Visit calibrate.com to learn more.
Well, always great to catch up with your wonderful business. You've got a lot of fans globally because of your entry into a best convenience store. I think it was in 2024 that you entered that competition. Here in Australia, great opportunity to talk about your business and what you're up to. So tell us about what's going on.
Well, Bowser Bean, we now basically have 35 sites throughout regional Southeast Australia. They all have been converted to what we call a Bowser Bean or a Bowser Bound standard. So we've elevated all of our sites to have a sort of a uniform look and feel and menu offer. And the market's going pretty well. Our food and coffee continues to be, I guess, our key performer.
Let's focus on coffee. I think every time I mention coffee, you start grinning, which tells me something.
Yeah.
It's not just a case of buying a good coffee machine, is it?
Oh, no. The coffee offer is... there are so many layers to getting it right. And I think one thing that really did start on my journey was I love coffee. I'm from Melbourne. We're a very coffee-centric town. We really do pride ourselves. Just had a coffee in Sydney this morning. Wasn't so good, but compared to what we drink in Melbourne. But I guess the thing with coffee is there are so many little 1%ers you have to get right. And one thing I was noticing quite early when I was involved in the business, when I started about 15 years ago, was I was driving to my sites, but stopping at the local cafes to get a coffee. I wasn't getting coffee at my own locations. So pretty early on in the piece, someone actually called me out on it and said, why don't you drink your coffee here? I was like, this is something we have to do. So we started that journey. First thing was uniform coffee beans, then trying to uniform the equipment, and then we actually brought technology into the space as well to work on consistency. So higher grade grinders, so ensuring the level of grind was the same at every site. We even used things like puck press, which is the coffee tamp. And what they were finding with baristas is how they were tamping their coffee in the morning, because about 16 pound has to go onto that tamper as they press the coffee into the group handle, was changing throughout the day because they were getting tired. And that also changes from person to person. How hard one person might push down on the tamp would be different to another person. So we introduced a consistent tamping machine, so everyone tamps at the same pressure. As well as that, then we introduced a training program. So we had the same field trainers going out and training all of our staff the same method. And the end result is something I'm immensely proud of, because we make the same great coffee, whether it's a site just out of Melbourne to a site all the way up, maybe 1,500 k's away up in central New South Wales. It's the same great coffee.
And that focus on the detail, and it's all about detail, isn't it, in the coffee business, that has brought your customers coming back?
Yes, and look, we have a certain type of coffee that our customers love, and it's quite funny. Like I'm from Melbourne, so I lean towards piccolos, strong lattes, that side of the coffee. Our standard coffee order is quite funny. It's a large cappuccino, 2 sugars, but what we do, that large cappuccino with 2 sugars is the same wherever you have it.
Yeah. And are you able to compete with if you like, coffee specialists?
Very
now?
much. And again, that's something I'm really proud of, very much so. I mean, again, 15 years ago, we thought, we only need to be about 80% as good as maybe the good cafe down the road, because we had the convenience factor. But because we've invested so much, our coffee generally outperforms the cafes in the local town as well. Plus, you've got the added benefit of convenience. And the other things we add, some of our sites also have coffee drive-through, which is very, very popular. I know it's big in the States, only just starting to take off in Australia, but it's a great concept.
Drive-through, yeah. So that's important. So just thinking about the other things that you sell, coffee is your hero, very much your hero category. That's what you're famous for, I think. Is that fair?
Well, Bowser Bean, as the name sort of might suggest, we love our coffee, but we also have a great food offer, and it really does complement that coffee really well.
So tell us about the development of your food offer and how over the years.
Well, it's an interesting question. It's a good story. I mean, when we got involved in the business, or when I got involved in the business, our business was largely commission agents, more like franchises. And most of our service stations were operating almost like as the old general store or the old takeaway shop. So they had this existing takeaway offer that at the time surprised me because, it was a lot of fried food and dim sims, but in the towns we were operating in, it was popular and they were selling a lot of it. And our commission agents had done a very good job in getting this menu into its place. So what we did is we standardised the menu, we standardised the offer, the products, made sure everyone was buying the same ingredients. And then we created menu guides, cooking guides, and implemented that. So again, it was a standardisation program, but what I love, it's the same great egg and bacon muffin, for example, in Healesville as it might be in Echuca,
So you do well at breakfast, you do well at lunch.
Yes.
Are you also into evening meal occasion as well?
We're trying dinner. Dinner has been a really hard egg to crack for us. I think the biggest thing holding us back there is probably alcohol. We do pretty much the same great food that can be offered in the local pub, but when you can't sell it with a schooner of beer, it does make it harder. So our breakfast and lunch is definitely our key meals. We do have a good dinner offer, but it's probably, I don't think Australians, we've adapted to convenience eating for breakfast and lunch, but not so much for dinner.
So looking at the sort of the role that food plays in the overall sales mix, it's getting up to a big number now, is it, as an average across the business?
Us, don't get me wrong, and we still see, we look at fuel as very important, traditional convenience, your chips, your chocolates, and drinks, and food. And for us, those three categories have to work very well together. But for us, food is our identity, and it's our key differentiator. So we probably drive the hardest.
Talking to some of your peers across the world, if they're nailing coffee and they're nailing food as well, they feel in quite a strong position against the QSRs because they also have all the other convenience categories and they have fuel as well.
And that's a great point. And that's the thing. There are things that we have that QSR doesn't, and it's a really good point. So we can't consider ourselves second tier to the QSR. We have to be ready to take them on.
And you feel confident you're doing that now?
Yes.
I can pick that up.
Yeah, no, very proud of the offer.
So just stepping back and looking at where the Australian consumer is, and particularly thinking about this big Gen Z cohort that we all like talking about, and I'm quite fascinated. I've got two kids that are Gen Z, so it helps me understand them. Where does that? I mean, they still like good food and coffee, right?
Yep.
But where else are you changing the way you market to these people, to this cohort?
For me, it is an evolution of approach. We haven't done anything radically different, but there are elements of our offer that really appeal to the younger customers. And I generally look at them as the school kids. And look, they're loud, rambunctious, they can be absolute rat bags, but they're great customers and they're really cool. We really do enjoy serving them. So things like an existing offer that we've always had that really appeals to them is we do $5 Burger Wednesdays.
$5 Burger Wednesdays.
So all of our burgers just $5 on a Wednesday. And it's almost, it's kind of viral. In the towns we offer it, everyone knows you go to Bowserbeat on a Wednesday for a $5 burger. The school kids love it. I mean, there's even been Instagrams of kids having competitions of how many $5 burgers they can eat.
Going viral is critical for this generation, isn't it?
And the fact that so they know about it. The other thing that I love with, I guess, the younger market that we kind of help them is when we build our sites, we generally have a dining space. We try to, as a good cue to, I guess, install confidence in the customer that we take our food seriously. So we make these really nice dining spaces with a variety of different types of seatings. The kids love that. It gives them a place that they can actually sit, enjoy. It's not quite, even though the fit out is gorgeous, it's probably not quite the high-end cafe, but it's probably elevated from a QSR. Kids really enjoy that space. It means they can go there for lunch. Also, I really do like the fact that they can go there after school, get the laptop out, jump on the Wi-Fi, grab a hot chocolate, tap away, and it gives them a really nice space. So I think that's one way we're helping that gen transition to being our future customer.
That sounds great. I mean, again, the conferences I've been to, the retailers I've talked to around the world, everyone's expecting to go after that longer dwelling customer, should we say. But you have to have the right environment for that, don't you? I mean, if there's nowhere to sit down, there's nowhere to relax, they're not going to spend much time there, even if the food is good.
Yeah, 100%. And it was an issue I ran in recently in America where there was some great food offers and I was on a study tour. We actually had nowhere to eat. We're sitting outside on pallets, just about, trying to eat our beautiful fried chicken. And I think in Australia, that's very much the same case. And initially it was probably largely my own selfish needs that was driving this. I wanted a place where I could get my computer out, enjoy lunch, have a coffee, get some emails done, and then go about my day. It's not a huge dwell time, but it's half an hour of really effective time. Not that different to how a lot of people might use an airport lounge. And I think that's one of the influences we use when we're designing our cafes is this a good space for someone that's just trying to fill 20 minutes?
I have to ask you where you get your ideas from and where the business gets its ideas from.
That's a good one. As a member of ACTS, for example, I have participated in several study tours. Yes, you can look at service stations, and there are some good examples, but I love looking outside of industry, and even on study tours, or even when I'm just going about my day-to-day. Any place where I interact with, even this morning at the cafe I went to, I took some pictures of their waiting area. You just got to have your eyes open all the time, and you look for those influences. So that's probably the key, is just always, not just in the industry, any place you're interacting with food, coffee, or any convenience environment, that is where I'm getting my... And
you're a big supporter of ACTS. They play, just to give Theo his due, they play quite an important role in this market, don't they?
Fantastic. Yeah, they're great advocates for the industry, particularly in that convenience space. And Theo has been very, very busy of late, particularly with the issues of tobacco and alcohol in Australia that we currently face in petrol convenience.
Looking towards the future, technology, we haven't talked much about technology, but is that also playing an important role in the business, and is it changing?
We like tech. I think Australia in petrol convenience and tech, we are a bit of a laggard. I don't think we generally haven't had the investment or the offer available in Australia. And I've always looked for ways to use technology to complement the business rather than building the business around technology. And so I'm always wary of that, be it AI for wastage. You know, if you haven't got your food offer right, working out how much you're wasting is really not that relevant. So that's probably how I see tech. Use it to enhance your business, but don't use it for your business. And I guess apps is probably the greatest example there. A few of the players in the Australian market have got apps and have done really well. More the majors that have actually been able to finance and build their own apps. We are still waiting for a good app, almost like a white paper app that we can use in Australia. I've been working on it for 10 years, somewhat unsuccessfully, but at the same time, because we have a great offer, because our coffee comes out so fast, the need for an app is somewhat reduced. It would be a great way to communicate with our customer outside of our store, but it's probably not essential.
Do you have, just thinking about, do you have one store that's in construction, or you plan that's going to be, you know, your next big flagship? I don't know whether some companies have that kind of focus. I don't know whether you...
Yeah, we actually have a major, I guess you'd call it a raise and rebuild going on at the moment in a town called Kilmore. It's a store that means a lot to me because it's been a store that's been in my family business for as long as I've been around. And it was an old roadhouse, great town, great team, but the building was made in the 1950s. I'm pretty sure if you leant on some of the walls, it would probably just about tip over. So it was great to get the chance to rebuild it, and we're having some fun there. Because it is a full rebuild, we get to do the whole box and dice. So we're looking at coffee drive-through, probably introducing a bit more tech, a bit more screens, and a beautiful dining space that also sort of is visual from the street as well as the forecourt, which is pretty exciting for us.
You see, if this was the UK, I'd say, well, maybe I'll go and check that out this afternoon, but I'm guessing that wouldn't be that easy.
Oh, it wouldn't quite be a hop and a skip, but it's not too far from Melbourne when you're down next.
All right, well, thanks for joining us, Haydn. Always a pleasure to chat with you.
Thank you for listening to the Future of Convenience podcast, produced by Dan Munford, Jenna Ferguson, and Lorraine Evans. It is produced and edited and mixed by Carolyn Schneer, and music is provided by Jukebox Music. Learn more at globalconvenience.com.